Well, Mark, here we are again, the cusp of a new season. How does it feel to be about to get back underway?
Yeah, just excited. You know, it's been, I'd like to say a long pre-season, but it's not even been that, has it, with, you know, the playoffs last year. So just excited to get back into it. You know, it was good to get a hit out against OKR in Amsterdam on the weekend, and everyone's looking forward to some, you know, some proper competitive games that are coming up now.
Yeah, how do you reflect on the win against Hull over there in the Amsterdam Challenge? Obviously playing in a new venue, unfamiliar territory, but you come out of it with a 26-12 win, albeit in a pre-season. Yeah,
listen, we're under no illusions. You know, if whoever plays OKR between ourselves and Keighley in that game a week on Friday, there's probably one player, probably Kalepi, that would be playing out of that team. You know, and the rest of the team would be different. So we're under no illusions there, but they still had a pretty strong team out. You know, to say they were playing against a championship team. You know, a lot of championship experience in that team. So it was a good hit out for us. The main thing we were looking at is his own systems and structures looked, you know, and you know, how we built ourselves into a game. And I thought everyone got what they needed out of it. We got a competitive hit out against, you know, Super League tried and tested players and some fringe players, and OKR got to look at their, you know, their squad members, you know, barring 5 or 6 that were, you know, proper first team players.
What did it do for team building as well early on in the season? The chance to get away with the players and maybe spend an overnighter as well, a bit of chance for a bit of team bonding as well as the game.
Yeah, listen, we didn't stay overnight. We travelled in and out on the day, but it was good to see how the lads responded to a long away day. It sounds really glamorous, doesn't it, that you're playing in Amsterdam? It's not as glamorous when you're up at 4:30 and getting in at midnight. Yeah, it was a good day. You know, everyone enjoyed it. I think it's something that I'd like to be involved in moving forward, and I think if we do go back next year, and I'm still here, obviously, I'd like to probably make a weekend of it, because it'd tie in nice to round your pre-season off for sure. But we can't thank OKR enough either for their invitation and allowing us to be part of that weekend.
You mentioned everyone kind of got what they needed down to it. 5 different try scorers, so good for all them to kind of get on the score sheet as well. Jesse Deed, Levi Edwards, Liam Harris, Miles Harrison and Connor Bailey.
Yeah.
For Levi Edwards in particular, though, having spent so much of last season out injured, was that good for him from a confidence point of view as well?
Yeah, look, Levi's, I first watched Levi as a 14-year-old. You know, I tried signing him at 14, I tried signing him again at 16, and there's no doubt in his pedigree. He's got that. I think the danger with Levi now is just making sure that too much pressure don't get put on him. You know, he's been out for 18 months. He just needs to focus on getting a few games under his belt, you know, back to enjoying his rugby, and there's no doubt, you know, the rest of what everyone knows is there will start reappearing, as you probably saw a glimpse on Saturday. But I don't want to put any pressure on the lad. You know, he's been out 18 months, and yeah, I'm glad to have him back. He's a great member at squad to have. He's got a great sense of humour, and yeah, just really glad he's back fit and hopefully enjoying his rugby.
Likewise from that point of view, for Miles Harrison as well.
Yeah, really impressed with Miles. He's really impressed me in pre-season. I think he's been right up there on the fitness testing, and then he asked some really thoughtful questions. You know, he's a little bit more introverted, is Miles, but yeah, I've really enjoyed coaching him, and he's another that if he gets a bit of luck on his side with injuries and fights his way into that team, then, you know, he's got potential to move on the levels as well.
Speaking to some of the Knights fans that did make the journey to Amsterdam, they all seemed impressed with Paul McShane at hooker, and a few commented that it had been a while since you'd had a hooker at the club, with the kicking game of Paul McShane as well, that cool, calm, experienced head on his shoulders. Were you impressed with a first glimpse of him in a York Knights shirt? Yeah, listen, I previewed Macca for the last 5 or 6 years previous coming to York, obviously when we were playing against Castleford, so I know exactly where his dangers are. But I think the best compliment I can give Macca is he's just slotted in effortlessly. He's given us you know, a bit of structure out of 9. He's obviously given the dimension that you've said, which is that kicking game. And he helps his halves out. We've naturally got some attacking flair in Atta and Liam, and Dag's obviously around the back that are constantly wanting the ball, and it's good that Macca's there just to add a bit of direction in the middle and you know, make a more informed decision who gets the ball. So really glad he's
he's on board. He's really good at mentoring the younger end too. I think he'll be great for Taylor Pemberton, you know, and a few others. But yeah, just real happy he's on board, and he's also a good coach as well. He's going to have a great coaching career after his called time on his playing career.
And it's a really good spine of the team as well. You mentioned obviously Paul McShane, Liam Harris, Will Daggers in that kind of mould as well, and obviously Ate Ngannou from last year, we saw what he could do. Yeah. You must be really pleased with the way that the spine of the team has just got that kind of experience at this level as well. Yeah,
like listen, I think if you said to most championship clubs, if you know the fit that you've got a spine of Will Dagger at full-back, Paul McShane at 9, and then you know, them two, Liam and Atta at half, they're not going to say no to you either. But yeah, there's some great attacking minds there. You know, some real intelligent rugby play. I suppose we've got to get a bit of luck on the side in keeping them fit. But yeah, if we can keep them fit, then really excited to see how they can all conjoin together and steer the team around this year.
How's Will Dagger doing? He took a bit of a shot at the weekend, didn't finish the game. Is he fit for this one?
He won't be able to play Keighley because he'll have to go through the return to play protocol. He's got an appointment with a specialist on Thursday. But yeah, well, more his neck than his head, but rightly so. The doctors, you know, are doing the job, especially with all the new concussion rules. They brought him straight off, so of course they brought him straight off. It's got to be deemed a category A concussion, but it were his neck that he'd hurt, not his actual head. I think he got a bit of a stinger in his neck, so we were a bit worried about, you know, the movement, hence why he stayed so tight, shall we say. But yeah, he's up and about on his feet. I mean, he ran off the field, and he actually said as he's coming off, I want to go back on, it's my neck. But you can't be too safe these days with that sort of stuff, so hopefully he'll get the all clear off the specialist, and he'll fly through his his protocols, and he should be available for the following weeks after that.
I know you mentioned that Hull KR made a number of changes, and there was maybe a bit of a more youthful look to your starting 13. How much of the team that we saw at the weekend, and you did take a large squad, will feature at the weekend?
Well, yeah, quite a lot of them. You know, what you saw there is exactly what we want to be about, you know, and we're not taking Keighley lightly. You know, they're going to be looking at us trying to get a scout. You know, they'll want to set a marker down for their own season. You know, Cougar Park is never an easy place to play, so we're expecting a very tough, gritty game. And listen, we're not one of these teams that think it's just going to be a case of we rock up and we play OKR the following week. We're going to have to fight for everything. So we've got to show that we want to be in that next round of the Cup more than them, and believe me, there'll be no taking it easy this week in training. And I told the lads that last night. It's going to be a battle, and we need to be prepared for that and make sure that we're ready to outwork as opposition.
Spoken pre-season when we've spoken about the blend of youth and experience this season. Is that with kind of half an eye on the future as well? And why do you think it's important to have that mix?
Good question. Yeah, I think it's really important. I think you've got your older heads, you know, that we've just spoken about, you know, such as Paul McShane and that. They've been there and done it all, but they thrive in training, especially off that youth and exuberance. You know, the energy they bring, and that's how I suppose the circle of life works in a rugby player. That, you know, the older lads pass on their experience about what they've learned over the last 10, 15 years, and the younger lads bring that energy, enthusiasm, and that's how you get the blend of team dynamics. But how many teams do you see that you know, they only plan for 1 year and they have a successful year, and then they're nowhere to be seen for the next 8 or 9, 10 years because they've got to go through a cycle again? So I think Clint's been really smart, as in he's tiered the squad that there's some really good older heads, a solid crop of, you know, 25 to 30 year old that are proven players at this level, and then a load of youngsters that are aspiring to be great championship players or aspiring Super League players.
You mentioned the challenge that Keighley are going to pose you in the Challenge Cup. Yeah. What are your memories of that competition, both as a head coach and also as a player as well? Yeah, listen, some really good wins and some really tough losses in it. For me, the Challenge Cup, it's still got that nostalgia about it. I think everyone dreams about either playing or coaching at Wembley, and
we're not idiots. We know that you know, whoever wins out of us and Keighley, hopefully it's us. But playing OKR, who are probably going to be there or thereabouts again this year, you know, I think they've signed great. It's going to be a tough test, but you want to test yourself against the best as a coach and also as a player. So you know, that's the carrot for both teams on Sunday, is that one of you is going to be able to test yourself against one of the best teams currently in Super League. So yeah, that's something that if that doesn't motivate you to go well, then nothing will.
You've sort of alluded to it already, but playing aside from the division below, albeit Keighley Cougars, you're not going to take them lightly.
No, I think Keighley were very unlucky not to get themselves promoted into the Championship this year. And you know, if you look at their squad, there's some really good players in it, and I think they'll be well coached. They'll be a dangerous team. They'll want to set their own marker down at home. You know, get their own season off to a good start by putting in a good performance against us for their own fans. So we're under no illusions. It's going to be a real battle on Sunday, and you know, it's one that we're embracing and we're looking forward to. And
they've also just signed Super League halfback Jared Semmett as well, who's obviously been at Wakefield, Wigan, Bradford, London Broncos, to name just a few teams. How much of a boost do you think he'll give them?
Yeah, I'm sure he will. You know, he's a proven player. Obviously, a little bit more experienced now, but he's still got the same mind. He's a tricky player too. He'll try some off the cuff stuff. So, yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm more worried about our own standard at this stage of the year and where we want to be as a team. And listen, we know whatever opposition we play, they're going to have talented players, but so have we. We've just got to make sure that we're focusing on ourselves and getting his own standard where it needs to be to make sure that, you know, we can achieve where we want to get.
And just finally from me, playing at Cougar Park, as you mentioned, it's obviously an away ground, but maybe conditions underfoot might be a little bit more muddy than I guess the players are used to. I know that you always say that it shouldn't come into play, the environment that they play in, but is that going to be an extra thing for the players to overcome?
I hope not. You know, as I say, you probably bored of me saying it last year, but it's the same for both teams. You know, we rocked up on Saturday to Amsterdam on a cork field. No one made an excuse of that off both teams. You just crack on and listen, if you turn up to Cougar Park and it's looking like Wembley, great. If you turn up and it's looking a bit more weathered, shall we say, then it is what it is, and you just crack on and get the job done, don't you?
Okay, good enough.
No problem. Richard.
Well, I'll try not to ask all the same questions now.
Sorry.
We are building up to the new season. First game in the Championship. How happy are you with the way things have gone so far ahead of the 2025 season?
Yeah, listen, everyone's worked really hard in pre-season. It's easy, isn't it, when you're not playing opposition every week and you're not having to drop people or people out in the team and so forth. But yeah, really looking forward to just getting restarted in the competitive games. I think it should bring out the best in everyone, you know, having that element of competition, you know, whether it's to get them 2 league points or get into the next round of the cup. So yeah, everyone's just really excited to get restarted into the proper stuff, so to speak.
They beat Bradford in a friendly at the weekend. Have you caught up with the footage from that?
Yeah, I had a quick look. Obviously, we're a youthful Bradford team, but yeah, as I said just there to the previous interview, that they've got some dangerous players, and we're under no illusion. It's going to be a tough game on Sunday, but you know, it's one that we want to be involved in, and we'll be focusing on ourselves and making sure our own standards where it needs to be.
That you know who you're playing in the next round, does that bear any stress on the players, that the fact that they know they've got Super League opposition in the next round if they get the job done?
I don't think so. I think if it does, you soon get found out because you won't be in that next round of competition if you're looking too far ahead. You know, it's one of them. It doesn't matter who you're playing in next rounds. My focus is always just on whoever we're playing that week. You know, I think as a coach, you've obviously got to have one eye on what's coming up over the short term and the long term future, but it's really important that you live in the moment, in the here and now, and that's all I'd say to our players is don't look too far ahead. You know, just focus on whatever game it is we're playing that week. Once we've got that out, where we worry about what's coming up the week after that. You know, but if we focus too much on there's a carrot of playing a Super League team, then we're not going to play the Super League team because we'll end up getting burned at Keighley.
Been to Amsterdam last week, played Hull KR and beat Hull KR in that friendly. What was that experience like? Because for the fans, they can get to experience a new place perhaps, but for you, you're in and out and you barely see anything. Yeah,
I've just said it sounds really glamorous, doesn't it? But yeah, from a playing or coach perspective, it's like a long away trip. You get to the airport, you get on an airplane, you fly out to wherever you're going, you jump straight on a bus, straight to the stadium, into some dressing rooms, and it's straight into, you know, your normal match day routine. As soon as the game's over with, you know, you get an hour where you can mingle, you know, with the fans and catch up there, and then you're straight back home on the aeroplane. But I think it's a fantastic experience, especially for the fans, for the game of rugby league, and I think hopefully it's something that you'll see more clubs doing next pre-season. But if we can get some games happening in Amsterdam, you know, and different European countries, especially famous cities such as that, it can only be good for rugby league. And yeah, from a York point of view, it'd be good to probably, you know, fly out the night before, so you can get, you know, a little bit more normality to your prep, or, you know, stay the night after, so that you know, you're not in such a rush. But yeah, I think it's fantastic, fantastic concept. The atmosphere were good to say. There were only 2,500 fans there. You know, the Dutch definitely made some noise, and I think, you know, OKR fans are always vocal out there. So it was a great atmosphere, and I just hope it's something that we're involved in the future as well.
Is it something where you can learn about how players react to a different situation in terms of, you know, as you say, a long travel day, you're flying, it's not the usual turn up at the ground at 1 o'clock or whatever? Okay.
Yeah, exactly that. It's a good chance to look at people and how they respond to, you know, a different sort of stimulus, and you know, players will learn from that too. I remember first time that I'd flown out to Catalan, for example, and you'd done it on the day. It's a different sort of experience. And then other times where you've got to stay for 3 to 4 days, you know, due to your turnaround or whatever. So yeah, you learn a lot about your playing squad. Players will learn a lot about themselves and how their prep looks. And yeah, just all in all, a good experience for us leading into, you know, this coming season.
Happy with the way things are going then ahead of this game against Keighley? What are you expecting against the Cougars on the weekend?
Yeah, I'm expecting a very tough physical game. I think they've got some players that can cause us some real danger. You know, I know they've had a few injuries of late, but I think there's a few due back. So, you know, we're not reading into anything other than it's going to be a real humdinger of a game that we need to be prepared for, and we need to make sure that we're bringing the best version of ourselves.
A fairly high-profile signing in Jared Sammet this morning.
Yeah.
Interesting to add his experience, which is plenty, to the squad. I'm surprised he's still only 37. He seems to have been around forever now.
Yeah, listen, he's a proven player, isn't he? As I say, we know that they've got some threats. We also know we've got some threats as well. So we're just focusing on making sure that where we need to be. And you know, Jared's he's a great player. You know, as I've just said there, he's got some real tricks up his sleeve. So we need to be prepared for that. But they've also got other players that have got some strike as well. So we need to make sure that as individuals and as a team that we prepare properly. You know, no one's looking any further than Cougar Park on Sunday and playing Keighley. And then, you know, if we do that, you know, may the best team win. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
And the game's on the Sportsman channel on YouTube, so a great opportunity for both clubs to put their best foot forward in front of the worldwide audience.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But yeah, it is, as you say. Hopefully, we can put on a great game for the neutral. And as I say, I know it sounds really boring and cliche, but you've just got to focus on yourself at this time of the year. I think if you get too much caught up in focusing on an opposition, you know, you kind of can get burned. So we just want to make sure that as a team we're playing how we want to play. The systems are doing what they need to do, and then more importantly, players are competing for spots and you know, striving to get them 17 shirts.
So you're only looking forward to this game, but the championship season around the corner.
Yeah.
Finally, how open do you expect it's going to be? Because everyone seems to be saying, all the experts and pundits and whatever, it's a very open championship. The last few years we've had teams which have dominated at the top, but this year it seems to be a bit more open.
Yeah, I think when we went to the championship launch last week, I got asked the same question, and I'd say anyone can beat anyone on the day, especially if you're going, slightly underdone. So I think Bradford's obviously spent quite big and got some depth to the squad. I think Featherstone's spent big and signed some players there because they were in a bit of a rebuild. So you'd expect them to be tough teams to beat. We'd like to think that we're up there. If we can keep a fit squad, I think Oldham signed really well. Obviously, well coached with Longy, but you look at some of the players they've coached, they've signed. They've got some great experience mixed in with youth there. Doncaster's strengthened, and they were a team last year that were tough. Sheffield and Widnes, they'll be right up there. Barrow signed well. Hunslet's come up there, not going to be a pushover, and. Toulouse, there's that many teams that you can look at that are competitive. That I think it's going to be a real tight league. And as I said, if you don't turn up on the day, then there's enough strike there to burn you. So we're looking forward to it. It's pretty much as a player what you'd want to be playing in every week. Where you need to be on your game, and as a coach, it's really exciting to coach him because you know that. You're going to get tested every week as well, and your team and your philosophies. So I'm looking forward to it, and it definitely gets my excitement up. And hopefully it should be a great season for your neutral to be watching as well.
Excellent, that's great. Thank you very much. All the best, Mark.
Cheers. Thank you, Rich.
Hi, Mark. Just a few questions from me. Don't worry. After that win at the weekend against Hull in the cup, in the friendly, now you move on to the Challenge Cup against Keighley. How important is it for you to sort of instill that winning mentality into your side to take into the championship season? No,
it's a great question. That it's something that every team will be speaking about. This, you want to get a good start off. No one's no one in their right mind is going to say I want to go lose 4 on bounce to start the year. You want to get that winning mentality started, and I think it builds confidence, and it builds a good habit to have. But they're not just going to get given to you either. You're going to have to fight really hard. So I think the balance is you're never going to be fully cooked at this stage of the year. It's kind of like you want to build into the year, but you want to be cooked enough that you're not dropping points or losing games that you expect to win. And if there's one lesson we learned last year as a team, I know we're probably in playoff rugby since week 1 that I came in, I think we were second from bottom, because we'd not picked up points, in games where we probably hadn't won and we've kind of thrown them away. So that's in the back of everyone's mind that we've got to make sure that we've got that winning mentality, and that if we do get a team on where we want them, that we keep his foot on the throat and we finish that game off.
And just in your team, there's Brad Ward and Kevin Hudson, how they both sort of recovered?
Yeah. Both will be out for a while, I'd have thought, both hamstrings. We're just trying to work out why that's happened. Jax O'Neill too, he's got an hamstring, but that were unrelated. He's did, the week before. So they're first proper injuries that we've got. So we just, I don't know. I think travel probably didn't help both of them, but it could be just unlucky, or it could be something to do with, something like that. So we're just doing a bit of an injury audit, and I'll be able to give you a bit more information next week on that.
How much of a frustration is that for you to lose 3 players there before the actual league season starts?
It happens, doesn't it? You've just got to plan for all accounts. There's also going to be other hiccups that come along. We've just spoke about a spine there. Something will happen at some point in the year. You hope it doesn't, but it will. You've just got to make sure that you've got that next man up mentality, that adaptability about you. So it happens. It's not ideal, but we move on. You can't change it. There's no point looking back, is there? You've just got to move forward, and it's a good chance for someone else to state their claim and put their name on that shirt instead.
Last for me, and I appreciate you already touched on it as well, but with the option of having Hull KR as the match after this Keighley one, if they are to win, How important for you to your players just to remain focused? And have you had to have a word with them just to make sure that everyone remains focused on the task at hand?
Yeah, to be fair, Liam Harris, as captain, spoke very well last night to the playing group about exactly what you've just said. So yeah, my job's easier when I've got players like that around me. It's really important that you're humble enough to realise that we only get results when we work hard, you know, and the performances only come when we're willing to muck in for each other and do the hard stuff that probably, you know, your neutral fan or your average fan maybe doesn't see, you know, all them little efforts off the ball or getting to certain points of the field, you know, to allow someone else to shine, you know, all them unselfish acts, they're the things that count. So yeah, listen, we've already spoke about not looking too far ahead into the future, and we haven't even spoke about OKR because there's no point, you know. Keighley is our sole aim at this moment, and all we speak about is yourself and Keighley. And then, you know, if we do get through, you know, come Monday morning, we'll start looking at OKR.
Perfect, thank you very much.
No problem.